Good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining the Forget Your Pizza Party podcast. My name is Chris, and as always, I'm joined by
Misty.
and tonight's episode. What is tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode is unit projects.
Oh, that's terrible. I hated unit projects. What did you feel about them?
I didn't like them. I thought they were very annoying.
I thought they were condescending. Like here you're a highly educated and trained individual, and you've got to go get a poster board from CVS or Walmart and scribble on it like you're doing a project in high school.
Yeah, it was very condescending. Most of the time, the project came from having a bad survey or,
Oh, so it was like a punishment?
yeah, in a way, because management doesn't feel like it's ever their fault. It's always everybody else's fault. So why not do some team building and do projects or team building projects or activities?
Did management ever participate in those unit projects? Because, I know in the surveys, we did quite a few before I left bedside nursing. And yeah, we point blank in our responses put that it was issues with management. And yet we were forced to, maybe about 2 months later, to start doing these projects. And nowhere was the unit managers or their bosses or even the assistant managers on that.
No, they led the project. We actually had I was newer to the CCU, and we had a really bad feedback survey on our management and just the unit altogether. It was pretty bad. So we thought, hey, you know what? We're going to speak up. We're going to have a voice. We're going to say what's really happening here. Well, that was a mistake. We ended up having to do these team building projects where they broke us into like groups, and then I don't even remember. I can't even remember what the topics were, but I know it was problem solving and just finding ways to solve problems or navigate personalities, that type of thing. But our management was leading it.
Uh, so I'm going to rely heavily on you for this episode because I participated in exactly 0 unit projects.
Yeah, yeah. Along with the projects or the team building exercise that we did with the unit, we also had to do a poster board.
Hey, everybody, just wanted to take a minute from the podcast and say, hey, please hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, comment. Every little bit that you do helps us get the word out, push this out to the algorithm and to others that may be interested in what we're talking about. If you know anybody, friends or family that would like to listen, just give us a shout out to them, have them log in, listen. Again, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Now back to the podcast.
So we had to group up into like 2 or 3 people in a group. You could pick whoever. And then you had a topic that you actually had to create a poster board for.
Mm-hmm.
So it was me and another person. We made this poster board. You may even remember what it is because I remember you guys having a bad survey come back, and you actually took my poster board for your unit project.
Well, you are done with it.
I was. Do you remember what a topic was?
I think it was nursing or patient engagement.
No. I think it was actually ways to de-stress.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't participate in that BS. I think it's a waste of time. We're too intelligent to be doing this crap. It is so condescending, and you feel like you're in a middle school science class, or you're doing a book report and you're doing a presentation, and you have the 3-panel cardboard that you have to pull out and give a presentation on. For those of you that don't know, especially in the hospital environment, that this is a thing. This is actually a thing. And you present it in front of your colleagues and management. And then if they like it, if you win the award for the best project, you get to present that in front of a whole panel of managers, which is even further condescending because it's taking you away from the professional that you are. And you're presenting a topic that we already all know what the issue is. And you're presenting it like it's going to be some sort of quality improvement among whatever topic they choose. And then it's never implemented. And it's just like a pat yourself on the back for the managers to say, hey, look at what I got my nurses to do. Look at the engagement that we got. Look at the participation. I can check that off the box and move on to something else. And nothing ever gets rectified.
Never. We did you ever participate at the organization where we're at? with an A3 project? Do you remember what those were?
No.
So A3 project is literally the A3 paper. You know how it's huge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the A3 project. So they would put you in groups. There might be a couple of you from your unit. You may combine with like a sister unit. You may not. It might be very specific to your unit. But you come up with typically your management comes up with a problem or some type of workflow issue that they see. And then you come together and you work through this. It was a very standardized step project, very specific. And you worked through each section to get to the resolution. You weren't allowed to just go from, hey, you know what? Let's fix the way we round. And this is the problem and do it. No, you had to go through each step, standardized step to reach a solution. And typically that solution was worse off than if you would have just,
Well, because it was management driven.
yeah.
So, and I'm going to bring up a thing that I read recently, and it was from the Cleveland Clinic, and they actually had to do a study on this, which I find just asinine, because it's very common sense. What they found at a particular hospital on the east side that we're very familiar with, they found that if employees are able to participate in the improvement and running of their respective departments, that employee satisfaction and satisfaction rates went up, turnover rates went down.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes.
Like that actually was proven?
Yeah, through a study at the Cleveland Clinic, and they trialed it at Hillcrest Hospital, a very well-known hospital for the Cleveland Clinic. It is a test hospital for the rest of the organization. The Cleveland Clinic's multinational. And if things end up running well with their quality improvement projects at Hillcrest, they are implemented system-wide. And we're talking, 24 hospitals, 50 to 70,000 employees, and they will implement it worldwide.
Yeah, it's massive.
And it's spearheaded usually at that particular hospital. And it was completely common sense based. It didn't matter if they were EVS, it didn't matter if they were food services, farm techs, phlebotomy nurses. If you had the ability to actively assist in the management of your environment, make improvements to what you see are the problems and not being told what the problems are, but actually letting others know what the problems are and fixing it, that satisfaction rates went up and
that's amazing.
And turnover rates went down.
Wow.
And for all of you all that are out there, for nurses in particular, a stat probably 15 years ago when I was first hired on, at the time, whatever your salary was or whatever your per hour rate for the year that you would make, so let's say it's 75,000. Every new hire plus the training, it ends up costing the employer almost double that in lost productivity and revenue from the amount of people that are on the training, from the amount that the trainer loses. You're not able to take as many patients, et cetera. So you get a unit with 40 to 50% yearly turnover rate. It eats into their budget significantly.
Well, it's like 60,000. Well, back when I started, it was like 60,000 just to hire one person.
It was 60,000. So it would cost the hospital or the system about 130,000 for the year.
Overall, yeah.
Overall for that one individual. So you get 5-6 nurses flipping out of that unit within 12 months. It's $500,000 or more dollars to that unit. And on top of that, you lose a team member, your staff is short. The wave effect of losing one individual, let alone 2, 3, 4, 5, is significant. So it was a common sense study, and it goes into this like unit project thing where you're being told what to actually research and work on as a project instead of actually doing something that you know will actually improve your work environment.
It's kind of like Nursing Congress too. Nursing Congress is a way for nurses to come together and help make improvements, right?
It should be.
Should be. But it is so management driven, and there's so many rules to the committee.
It's micromanaged.
It's very micromanaged. And we actually had a lot of, where we worked, we had a lot of retention issues and a lot of
And yet
the units.
they still got magnet status. Figure that one out.
Well, I don't get me started on that cheerleading thing,
Yeah, I wonder how much money they paid to the organization to get magnet status. Anyway,
right?
we digress.
So there was a lot of retention issues. So you know what? They said, let's come up with a retention council so that we can try and fix this problem. So they get nurses from all over different areas of practice to come together and they start this committee. But the crazy thing is that there was management involved. Now, we all know when management's involved, it's going to be controlled. It's going to be taken one direction. It's not going to be the direction that they actually need to go to retain their nurses. So some of my peers and some of my friends were on this council, and anytime they would bring up what the true problem was, your staffing, your pay, your work-life balance, any of that, it was shot down.
Oh, my guess is they redirected it always away from the actual issues.
We can't do that because HR is not involved. We'll get HR involved. I mean, if these are the ways that you need to get retention, let's get the people that need to be involved. That was the whole point of having the committee. And I don't even know what they ended up doing. I don't even know what
They didn't do
came
anything.
from that.
They didn't do anything.
It was just this committee that you could say you were on. It was very frustrating for the people who were participating in it.
Yeah. Well, my particular unit that I was on, we implemented a thing called the Kaizen Industrial Improvement Model, which on the surface is actually really, really good, but you can bastardize it pretty quick and get it down to where it's so
Why don't you
micromanaged.
explain it?
So the Kaizen improvement model is anybody at any level can, if they see a problem, they can present it. So if you had multiple ideas, I had one where we switched out all of the panels in all of the buildings to motion sensor. And that way you're not wasting electricity, except for hallways and fire areas, those. But if you're in the bathroom or you're in a storage room, you really don't need the lights on. And I put it in as an improvement model. So they would figure out like down to the cents how long each light would burn, how much electricity they were using. And so that was one way they would tease that out. But as a group, you could pick like 2 or 3. And so once you picked the 2 or 3, then you would look at the process from beginning to end. So the very start of the problem where it actually originates, any roadblocks that are present during the full implementation of that issue, and then to conclusion. And then what they would do is they would bring in different areas of the hospital, different departments to try to smooth out that process. So any idea that you had could take 3, 6, or 9, even up to a year process to actually get it implemented. Now, what they did though is they incentivized it. So if they did implement an improvement that was your idea, whatever the savings benefits were, you got, I think, 10 or 15% of the initial savings up for the first year, and then it stopped. So there was a huge incentive if you could find areas to save the organization money, and it did. It ended up improving a lot of different systems. The problem is that a lot of managers took that over, and instead of it being a quality improvement for all employees, it was a quality improvement for the manager's reputation and for their achievement and ladder climbing.
Yeah, I remember the Kaizen board, see a problem, fix a problem.
Yeah.
Well, it ended up being more of a problem, just bringing up the problem.
Well,
So nobody spoke up.
Well, nobody spoke up. And again, it was compulsory. You would have meetings once a month. If you didn't participate in some of these unit meetings or unit projects, they would penalize you for it. It would be a negative mark on your reviews. You could lose out on cost of living adjustments, whatever standard raises, education. So they forced you. And so some of these unit projects, you had to come in on your day off. And anybody that's got any issues with stress, anxiety of working in healthcare, instead of getting a break away, you're being brought back into the very environment where you're getting triggered.
And then if you came in and you were in your scrubs, because a lot of times they would want you to dress appropriate, like scrub attire, then they were trying to
Have you pick up shifts?
Yeah, they were trying to pressure you into staying to help out the unit.
Yep. Which was another thing. So and this is a pro tip for all you potential new grad RNs and LPNs that may go into hospital systems that still allow LPNs. Listen, your new boss is going to pressure you to do these unit councils and these unit projects, and you're going to want to please them because you're a new hire. You have to navigate so that you're not pulled in too many directions, because you're going to it's going to burn you out way, way faster.
Once you say yes, they're gonna expect
Yep.
you to continue
And they're
saying yes.
and then the problem is, if you say no, they're like, but why? Why don't you want to participate? You've done this and this and this. Why don't you want to do this? And instead of remembering all the things that you actually did,
I
they're
actually got into it with a assistant nurse
I know.
manager
Yep.
because I was training a new hire. She was getting ready to come out on her own, and there were some available councils where they needed a spot. So they came and asked her about one council, and she's like, "Sure, yeah, give it a try." Well, when we were alone, I said, "You better be careful because you're coming out as a new nurse. You're gonna have a lot of pressure. You're gonna be stressed. You're gonna be new. There's a lot of change that comes with that." I said, "Just be careful because they're gonna keep coming." What do you know? The next shift, "Hey, do you wanna do this one too? Hey, do you wanna do this one too?" And I looked at her and I was like, "Why are you constantly asking her to do stuff? You are gonna burn her out." Like, and we literally got into it, and she was mad at me because I was trying to keep her from doing the councils, but I was like, "There's no reason for you to ask her to be on 3 or 4 different councils, like, one thing at a time."
You were partially in management for a while. Do they get reviewed on the amount of nurses that they have participating in these projects?
Not not at the A&M. I'm not sure how that affected my lead manager's role. I'm sure there was something tied into
Like
her.
overall unit engagement, like
Yeah, probably for her, not so much for the A&Ms, but it was in your review, whether or not you were participating because it did what tier you were. There were different tiers for your reviews. So
see,
engagement was one of those things
right.
that would give you a higher tier.
And see, I by not participating in these projects, I ended up picking up shifts as a balance.
Mhm.
And you can't say anything if you've got a nurse that's willing to pick up shifts. I just wasn't willing to be belittled and put onto these council meetings where I know after being there for a while, you just know that they don't do anything. There was limited implementation of any of the stuff that they talked about.
Now, if you're trying to climb the ladder and
You got to
go
drink the
like,
Kool-Aid.
yeah, go management route, then you absolutely want to be engaged in all of these things because it is going to help you climb that ladder.
But the problem is you can still be a ladder climber, do it the right way, and navigate that without by 3 or 4 councils, and you're coming in on your days off. You will have no days off
Right.
except for the week, your every other weekend,
Yep.
because they don't do anything on the weekends. So be very, very cautious. That's the only pro tip that I can give anybody out there
We're not
listening.
saying don't speak up on your engagement surveys. We're not saying don't participate. All we're saying is just be careful on your like what you are engaging with and how much because it will burn you out.
Well, I can tell you that I recently did an engagement survey, and our organization, everybody that pretty much did anything on that survey they said it was anonymous, but all of us are having to do improvement things now.
Mhm.
And the managers are going on sabbatical to all these training sessions. And really all it was you're top heavy and you need to back off on micromanagement. But yet now we're doing all these projects, and it's almost like we got punished for being completely honest.
Yeah.
And that is something else that you got to be aware of. If they know who posts, I don't care what they say, they're not anonymous. If you work on a unit with only 5 other people, you better be very, very careful. They're gonna pinpoint exactly who it is, and you will be singled out. They will know exactly who it is. I do not believe anything's anonymous. It is all tracked. IT tracks everything. If they really want to, they can pinpoint the IP address in your login, and they will know exactly who sent that email survey back in. Even if they go to a third party vendor like SurveyMonkey or one of those, everything is still logged. They're gonna be able to tell exactly who participated in that survey. So be very, very cautious about how overtly honest you're going to be.
Yeah. Right now I don't think with everything going on in the healthcare world, they have a lot of time to really focus on engagement right now when they're just trying to get people to work their shifts. So,
Yep. So, well, did you ever have the parade of projects?
right. What do you mean the
Like in the
parade?
break room? Like, did you ever walk into your break room and see like 8 fold out boards with nothing but completed projects that everybody posed?
No, but they would have, I don't know what they called them. There was like a day or something where they would set them down in the conference room and you could walk through and see all the projects. And some people presented to the president and the chief nursing officers and stuff, depending on how good it was. But
I feel like it's a science fair project.
it
And
did feel like that.
you're getting a blue ribbon,
Yeah.
first place blue ribbon.
When you really don't get anything for it
We don't get anything for it.
because your
And
manager's always in that picture
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, and it was always amazing. The managers always got mentioned first, especially when they would do the monthly newsletter, and it would say, "Oh, med-surg unit manager Phil had the unit do this project, and one of his nurses, blah 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 blah, did this project," and we just congratulate Phil on a great project that was completed. Nothing about the actual individual that actually did the work. It was always mentioning the manager as taking that and spearheading that project, and in reality, they didn't do anything to participate on it.
Yeah.
Another employee satisfaction issue is people taking your ideas for their own and advancing the career off of your labor, which is common in any industry.
Happens all the time.
We're not big on unions, but we do support our colleagues in New York on strike. And I can't fault anybody fighting for better pay. We all do it, even if you're salary, if you're hourly at a non-union organization, you fight every day to get more money by doing the best job you can, by appealing
Or
during
just
your reviews.
or just having a fair work
In a
environment.
fair and safe work environment, too many people are getting hurt at work.
Mhm. Our
You,
voices aren't being heard.
you have staffing ratio issues at every level. And it's something when some of these for-profit hospitals, the individual that's running the hospital is making $70,000 a day,
Yeah, there's something wrong with
and
that.
they say they can't find money for staffing. And I'm sorry, but that's a pretty egregious lie.
Mhm.
Especially, I know since they do have union insurance, they're bringing in some of these contract nurses in at $4,000 or $5,000 a week to fill those shifts for the nurses that are on the picket line.
Maybe even more.
Or more. There's some that are there. I know, depending on the unit and your experience, it could go up to 7,000 to 9,000.
Mhm.
There's nurses striking in Michigan,
Yeah, it's starting to take off.
and well, Michigan was long before the New York. Michigan's been going on for about 4 months, and then there was an article that said Kaiser Permanente. So the nurses at Kaiser were going to be looking at striking. That affects 3 or 4 states out west.
Yeah, that could even affect, isn't Kaiser here in
I think so.
northern Ohio?
Well, I don't know if they're still there anymore, but they were. But definitely down out in California and Hawaii and a couple other states out west, definitely at a big nursing population for those healthcare systems as well. And again, the common theme is fair pay, safe environments, and safe patient to nurse ratio.
And healthcare.
And healthcare. But
Take
really,
care of those who are taking care of you.
well, but in reality, the main three, well, the healthcare, they want healthcare, but the main three are safe work environment, safe nurse to patient ratios, and better pay. I mean, healthcare is there, but it's the same 3 or 4 things every place you go. I mean, it doesn't change.
I don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up and hear it. Hear CEOs and stuff. When are you going to wake up and hear what is actually going on? Take a walk through the units. Take a walk through your hospital on a really bad day, and you'll see what's going on.
Yeah, it's like the pit. It's like the pit where you see Noah Wiley's character trying to run an ED, and the whole entire time the administrator's coming up to them and to him about his survey results. And
H caps.
age caps. I can't tell you how many times as a provider in the hospital or even working as a bedside nurse, we heard, got to get our age cap scores up. You gotta do this. You gotta
You're
provide
not charting
patient services.
right. You
You're
got to
not
chart
charting right.
this.
Are you delivering the pain meds in a timely manner? Are you answering the call lights, et cetera, et cetera? And it's like, well, I've got 8 patients. Okay, you tell me how I'm going to do that with 8 patients.
Mhm.
And so we stand with them, we support them. Hopefully, the hospital administrators wisen up that this is not an environment that's conducive to your employees. You're not taking care of the people that are taking care of you. You're not taking care of the people that allow you to have that $26 million a year salary. Just saying.
Agreed.
And I will say this, a lot of these hospital systems, they're extremely top heavy. There are managers for managers for managers for managers for miles.
Yes. I just don't
I
understand.
mean,
Why do you have to have a manager for a manager for a
if there
manager?
was a manager of stock rooms, they would have it here.
Mm,
These hospitals existed long before the management structure that they have now,
mhm.
but they're all falling because of the weight of the management structures they have now. So I remember up in Cleveland, one of the organizations did a call of all like mid-level and upper-level managers. They got rid of 800 mid and upper-level managers. So if you're able to get rid of that many people in one organization and your organization still runs and thrives, that should tell you something. And most of them are top-heavy like that.
A lot. Yeah, most of them.
Yep. Well, you want to end it here for tonight?
Yeah, so everybody make sure you're staying warm out there. It's negative wind chill factors. Tonight, tomorrow, keep those kids bundled up if they have to head out to school.
Right. And as always, you are more than your job. You are replaceable at work, but you are not replaceable at home. Spend time with your friends, spend time with your family, make those memories, work on your mental health. It'll be the best gift you give yourself. And
Oh, and unfortunately, Ohio State didn't make it to the national championship, but we got to keep it in the Big Ten. Go
that's right.
Indiana.
That's right. Go Indiana. You know what? Everybody loves a comeback story. I can't think of anything better than Indiana winning.
Yep.
Forget Miami.
Yep.
It's unfortunate they're not playing up here in 0-degree weather. Those Miami kids couldn't survive up here.
No.
But I guarantee you, Indiana and Ohio and Michigan and all these Big Ten teams would thrive in the cold weather.
Absolutely.
Anyway, till the next time, take care, have stable shifts, get home to your families.
Till the next time.
Bye now.
Healthcare heroes on the grind underappreciated. Weekend comes, but the pizza's not celebrated. Managers order, they just can't seem to get it right. We gather round, but we're ready for a bite tonight. No toppings, no love, cold slices on our plate. Pizza party, let the podcast begin. Healthcare warriors, let the laughter spin. Through terrible toppings and grease that we dread, we'll keep this conversation alive instead. Chit chat, laughter, it's our weekly unwind. But this cardboard crust feels like a sinister sign. Heartfelt stories wrapped in cheesy regret. As workers unite over this pizza we fret. A slice of happiness, more like a slice of pain. Pizza party, let the podcast begin. Healthcare warriors, let the laughter spin. Through terrible toppings and grease that we dread, we'll keep this conversation alive instead. So here's to the workers, may your pizza improve. Together we'll rise and we'll make our groove.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to take a minute from the podcast and say, hey, please hit that notification bell, like, subscribe, comment. Every little bit that you do helps us get the word out, push this out to the algorithm and to others that may be interested in what we're talking about. If you know anybody, friends or family that would like to listen, just give us a shout out to them, have them log in, listen. Again, like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Now back to the podcast.